What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Thursday, October 9th. Now, we're going to address what's going on within the market because you may have noticed that everything is tanking, not just DOG. We're seeing meme coins and even Bitcoin and Ethereum and major large cap altcoins taking a dip. And this is due to a market maker. Now, you probably have heard the story over and over before, so hopefully I don't sound like a broken record. But I want to share with you why this video, DOG Bitcoin, is still set up for success, because people are building for DOG and runes. We're going to be talking about Kraken. They just released Bitcoin meme bundles on their consumer app. We're also going to be talking about Gemini as a follow-up, and also talk about Maestro, which is supported by Tim Draper, who is a huge investment venture capitalist within everything from Tesla, Robinhood, you name it. He's betting on the Bitcoin ecosystem. And then we're going to look into charting and analysis to see where DOG stands in terms of a bull or a bear trend. Let's reveal it in this video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. And please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I will never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. So as you can see, DOG is still dropping around 7%. It's around 200 million market cap. Now, the reason this is dumping is because look at what's going on with Bitcoin's price. Look at what's going on with Ethereum's price. Everything, especially large cap altcoins, are taking a dip. Remember, whatever happens to Bitcoin will ultimately affect every other altcoin. Bitcoin dominance is still very strong. Now, why is this tanking? Well, look at what Binance is doing. Yes, Binance is sending funds from Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, you name it, to the market maker Wintermute. And what's really messed up is that this is not illegal. Until there's regulation, not just within the United States, but I'm talking about globally, this will continue to happen. Now, how's that affected meme coins? Well, look at the meme coin sector. We can see that Pudgy Penguins is down 7%, SPX 6900, 8%, Floki down 8%. We scroll down to where DOG Bitcoin is at, it's roughly around 7.5%. So this may continue on if the manipulation goes on, but then again, maybe this manipulation is just supposed to shake everybody out of their bags, as we've seen before. But whatever is going on with Binance, people are thinking that this whole Binance meme coin meta was going to be the next new thing, when eventually it was not. Now, if you don't know, CZ, who used to be the CEO of Binance before he actually got caught, he was arrested. He went to jail for like maybe 2 or 3, even 4 months for that matter, and then he was released. And then he started going back on crypto Twitter, talking about how Binance is really stepping into the whole on-chain meta and stepping away from centralized exchanges. And then he was pitching this idea around that BNB meme coins were going to be maybe the next new hot thing, when in fact it wasn't. Roughly around 90% drops from every single Binance meme coin that was released. And this is no surprise to anybody within the DOG army. We've been trying to exploit this. This is called insider trading, insider allocations. If you look at the amount of unique wallets within the top 10 to top 100, you notice that typically with these tokens that are manipulated, the top 10 wallets own a huge majority of the supply. And as you can see, a lot of the Solana traders wanted to bridge over to BNB, and 90% of those traders from Solana got liquidated. But let's also talk about Coinbase, because Jesse Pollock, who works within the Base and Coinbase team, says if someone is telling you that centralized exchange gatekeeping and charging fees for listings is good for your bags, quote unquote, because it shows which assets are quality, that person is 100% part of the cabal of people trying to exploit you for profit. And the DOG army has been trying to point this out for so long. So if you haven't seen this post already, make sure to comment, like, and just let them know what DOG stands for. But not only that, let's talk about how DOG is still trending. Even though you're seeing the whole market within meme coins and crypto kind of capitulate, DOG Bitcoin and their army still shows up on social media. We are still here. No matter how volatile the market has been, the DOG army has been the strongest community base I've ever seen. This is why I continue to make videos on a day-to-day basis. Now, remember, back on October 7th, we did that interview with Austin Oaks. And what's really funny is that Austin Oaks says, I hope this one doesn't get me in trouble. Well, what he means by is fired. Because we do know that the whole controversy around the Gemini account talking about DOG, saying it wasn't supposed to happen, well, that was the whole comedy of it. And even today, Gemini is still teasing Austin, and saying you need to pack your bag. Because if he keeps doing this, he'll get fired, which is the kind of the comedy of all of it. But yesterday, I ended up making a post. I said, do you want Gemini to say dog? And Gemini says, don't forget to have fun. And as you can see, the D, the O, and the G are hidden within the specific post. Now, the reason Gemini can't say dog is because obviously they're a major exchange. If they say dog, that means that people are going to want to ape into dog, and that leads to, well, basically a whole bunch of people buying dog and then selling their dog once it goes live on Gemini. So Gemini is really smart. They don't want this to happen. And in fact, when the Gemini account does type in the dog ticker symbol, that's most likely when dog will be available for spot trading on Gemini. So I'm telling you right now, just don't ignore Gemini. The reason Gemini has been paying attention to dog is because they're trying to gear and garner the engagement from the community, because they know that we have the strongest engagement and we're a brand activation. And what that means is that we'll actually help Gemini promote its platform to the broader audience, because we are basically the brand activation and the marketing budget that's absolutely free, that they can use us to bridge their brand across all platforms. But what really gets me excited today is, guess what? Kraken has officially listed the Bitcoin meme coin bundles. Yeah, if you go into their consumer app, which you can go on your phone, you can go into the bundles section, you'll see Bitcoin meme coins. And guess what's featured? It's Dog Bitcoin, the meme token, Lobo, Pups, and $1 billion cat. Now you can buy under one click all these all together with one single purchase button. You don't have to buy them separately. So this is a game changer. And just see how much Kraken sees the foresight of where Bitcoin meme coins are going to be. Because now, since they're their own category, they're just going to be as popular as major memes or crypto blue chips, World Liberty Finance, even US strategic reserves. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a sign for you to understand why the Kraken team continues to build for Bitcoin meme coins, because they understand the amount of capital inflow that's going to happen to Bitcoin meme coins. They're going to allow Kraken and their clients to have access to that. But not only that, let's talk about Maestro. Remember, I mentioned earlier on the video about Maestro. If you don't know, Maestro is now just launching their world's first fully audited Bitcoin indexer. Now, what this allows for is meta protocols like Runes, BRC20 tokens, Alkanes, or whatever that may be, to be faster, safer, more scalable in the entire Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem. Now, who's backing this? Well, Tim Draper. As you know, Tim Draper has a lot of different amazing investments, early investments before these things started to boom, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But he says that the Bitcoin economy will be a catalyst for global economic empowerment, transforming how people interact with money on every level. Maestro provides the critical infrastructure needed for the digital finance revolution. So who is Tim Draper and what are his early investments? You got to spot them early, because these things are like Tesla, SpaceX, Robinhood, and Coinbase. And all four of these really didn't blossom in the very beginning. No, they were just like a startup, just like what we're seeing with Bitcoin DeFi, Bitcoin Runes. So what you're seeing now with Bitcoin DeFi and Bitcoin Runes is the early stages of Tesla, SpaceX, Robinhood, and Coinbase. And as you know, all four of these different entities, and I'm sure a lot of his other investments, have done really well over time. So right now, it's really a timing thing. You just have to wait for these things to bloom. And with Bitcoin Runes, Bitcoin meme coins, and Bitcoin DeFi, they're actually accelerating at an exponential rate, because the amount of capital and interest within Bitcoin DeFi is really enticing. It's actually easy for us to envision it, because we've seen all these other testnets on Ethereum, Cardano, Solana demonstrate how developers can build on those platforms. So now everything is coming back to the mother chain, which is Bitcoin. Now, in terms of inflows and outflows, we saw an inflow of around 192 million dog tokens, while there was only an outflow of 62 million. So you must be wondering, why is that affecting the dog price? If we're seeing more inflows, why are we seeing the dog price go down? Well, I want you to pay attention to one thing. You may see these red candles, but we still have the buy button on the super trend indicator. Now, what you need to remember is look at these other times that we saw red candles. So remember, we saw a buyback button over here in September 2024. Well, there's a major pullback, yet the buy button or the buy alert was still intact. And then we saw the dog Bitcoin price continue to go up. But look at over here, look at this buy symbol. We saw a major pump, but we saw a major pullback of dog Bitcoin, yet the buy signal was still intact. And then we saw more upside for dog Bitcoin. So when you're paying attention to dog Bitcoin at these levels and you see this pullback and then you see a buy signal still there, I still think that this buy alert is still intact. Now, will there be a sell alert? Well, this would be really interesting, because I haven't really seen a sell alert appear anytime after, or at least like a few days after a buy alert has happened. Just historically speaking, whenever there's a buy alert, we don't see another sell alert until like weeks later, just based on what I'm seeing in this chart. So right now, could this be a fake out of a buy signal? Well, we don't actually know. But right now, what I'm telling you is that the buy alert is still there, and we still have the 25 basis points still there as well. So before we conclude this video, as a reminder, I am giving away 100,000 dog tokens, which is roughly around $200 or more, give or take, on Monday, October 13th. And as I mentioned, you need to follow my X account and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make sure to post those screenshots down in the comments below. As you can see, this is what everybody else is doing. So if you want to be that selected winner, you can win the 100,000 dog tokens by Monday. So as a conclusion and statement, you know I'm bullish on dog. You're seeing what's happening within the dog price, but not only that, what Binance is doing and how the whole capitulation within the market is due to Wintermute. Binance meme coins are not the new meta. This just proves why dog Bitcoin was built for success, regardless of what you're seeing with the market cap or the dog price. When you focus on the fundamentals, and then you focus on what Gemini is building, what Kraken is building, what Maestro is building for Bitcoin DeFi and Bitcoin meme coins, you understand that right now is the best time to accumulate. Most retail traders, this is the 99%, never buy dips on anything. It's not just dog Bitcoin, but any cryptocurrency. But the real sharks out there, the real investors, the professional traders, they buy the fear because they know they can take profits when things start to pump. So where do you stand? Are you the 99% or the 1% that plans to buy these dips and hodl? Well, let me know your thoughts down below, and I cannot wait to read them. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding dog and moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.